Welcome to Winners, Wallets, and Worldviews, the only show that's going to teach you
how to be somebody.
Where in your life did you learn that you're not good enough?
Take what you're most passionate about and what you're most fearful of. And what is the plan to overcome that fear? And what is the plan to enact that passion?
Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, Instagram.
Good morning, Facebook.
Oh, wow. So today...
Can't tell. We just woke up.
Actually, so we woke up late. That's why we're doing this, because we decided
late. We never wake
sleep
up
in
after like 7:30 on a Saturday, and I don't know what happened today.
Yeah, there's something about those like if you sleep 8 hours, you feel great. But if you sleep like 8 to 10 hours, your body goes into this like way different dream space. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? You probably
you woke up with like 62 different dreams that were like way far out there.
You ever write down your dreams and try to see like what they were trying to communicate
or
to you?
What they mean? Has anyone found like a really good like dream book?
Yeah,
I used to have one when I was young. You do?
Well, it's Freud's psychoanalysis on dreams. It's
Oh,
really good.
I didn't even know we had that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I used
I
to
read
have
that.
when I was younger of what like if you like dreamt about like a spider, what does a spider mean in your dream? Or the color purple, what does that mean in your dream? Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know we had that.
So yeah, it's really good to do that every morning. I don't know. I always like to see what my dreams talk about, but
Fun
stuff. So, good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming on. I'm going to wave at people because that's more fun. And Sheriff's on. So what's going on, guys?
And we don't have our celery juice this morning.
We didn't make the celery juice because we woke up. We woke up late. But
want to hear something crazy? Costco is running out of celery. Costco is running out of celery. Like people are buying it by the how we do by the box. We buy like
you can buy
at a time.
you can buy the boxes at Costco. You can just get we just pick up the box that it comes in and we put that in the cart. That's what we've been doing. And this woman
they only put so many boxes out at a time. Who's buying a dozen celery at a time but us?
Dawn-Ann had a dream last night. And what does it say? So Dawn-Ann is having a dream. And what is this telling you, Dawn-Ann? So like we were talking about before, is I always think there's something that these dreams mean, right? There's always something that they mean because you can talk to like some people can't meditate, but they can dream really well. And I think that that's one way of the subconscious talking to us. So a good book. I don't remember the exact name, but it's basically Freud's psychoanalysis on dreams or something like that. It's really good. It goes into deep on what your dreams could mean or what that comes up, and it's really good. So what I wanted to tell you guys a quick story today about my car breaking down.
Mm-hmm.
So I came from a family that's not necessarily, I guess my family's kind of handy, but I'm not. That missed the generation somewhere.
And they're also very detail oriented or very
and I'm not.
Yeah.
So I had a check engine light pop on, and I've been working in the automotive industry for a couple years now. So I started to kind of by osmosis learn a lot about vehicle maintenance. So my check engine light popped on, and I just kind of started to ignore it. How many people have been in that situation?
No.
I've
never ignored a check engine light. I just think you're just asking to be broken down on the highway or in some sketchy neighborhood.
Maybe I was ignoring the check engine light because I've been kind of immersed in the automotive industry. I know they're always just BS fault codes, like what I got.
So you know too much now to where it's hurting you?
Probably, yeah.
See, I just panic because I don't know anything about it. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get to AutoZone because I'm going to break down any minute now. Yeah.
So, anyway, my check engine light comes on. I just kind of ignore it. And this goes on for about a month and a half. And then my car doesn't start. So I start kind of
And it's also 15 degrees outside.
It's 15 degrees outside.
I wasn't with him, thank goodness.
Nobody's around in the parking lot. So I just decide to Uber home. And I'm just going to wake up in the morning and figure this out. I go back over the next day and I start to try to figure out I start troubleshooting the issue. Okay, so it's probably just the battery. And this is the only way I figured this out was because so I had 3 opinions. The first person I asked said, call AAA. They're going to tow you into the guy and then the guy will flip the hood over and figure it out. The second opinion I had said, did you have enough gas? I'm like, okay, great, freaking really? Yeah, I had enough gas.
Because it hasn't happened before.
And the third opinion was why don't you just look under the hood and try and see if you can see anything? And I thought, what did Sheriff say? At least you know your weaknesses and have those connections to figure out your problem.
Yep.
Well, Sheriff didn't help much. Sheriff's probably one of the guys telling me to go to freaking AAA. So the other group said, why don't you just flip it over under the hood or whatever? And I probably never would have done that before because I didn't really know what the hell was under the hood, right? Because you kind of don't really want to face what's unknown. So anyway, I flip it under the hood, pretty easy. It's a battery. I needed a jump. Battery didn't hold a charge, so I go over to AutoZone. I buy a new battery and I fix it. These are all things that happened because I decided to look under the hood. So think about that, right? How many people they see the check engine light go on, they know there's a problem, but they don't want to look under the hood, or they want someone else to solve the problem for them, or they want to ask AAA to help them out, or they want to ask their handyman to help them out. But really, it's something just as easy as jumping your battery and replacing your battery. Something that would cost like $250 if you had a paid mechanic do it, but it cost me only like $135 for the battery. You pop off 3 bolts and you pop it back in. I think this is an allegory for ignoring your problems. So many people ignore their problems and they're looking for a solution externally to solve it. When in reality, the best way to solve the problem is to pop open your hood and look for yourself. And then you'll start to see that, wow, okay, I've never changed a battery before. How do I do that? Well, you have YouTube, you have the internet, and it's really just a step.
You have resources.
There's
you have
4
everybody
steps.
at your work.
There's so many different people that make it very easy to solve these problems when you have resources and you attack it face on. So this is what I always talk about, is facing the dragon with your sword and your shield. What's up, Andy? How you doing, man? Welcome to the morning show with Marissa and AJ here. I just made that up. That's not our name.
I know.
But that's kind of what I mean. It's like facing the dragon with your sword and your shield. It's going in and just solving the different problems. I mean, how many of you guys have invoices that are unpaid? You have invoices that are unpaid and you don't want to call the person and tell them your plan because you might not even have a plan, or you might not even know how to pay for these things. How many of you guys have ever felt in that situation? One of my good mentors, who's actually one of the wealthiest people I personally know right now, said he was in a point in his life where he had so many unpaid invoices that he had ranked them in order of who needed the money the most first. And that's who he had at the top. And then he said at the bottom were like some of the more wealthy people or more established businesses that didn't need the money as much. And he says he would go through and he would actually, that's how he would prioritize how he was going to pay off of his invoices. But what he said is, he says, no matter what, you got to call them. You got to face the problem. You got to let them know what's going on, because that's somebody else's money. So think about that. There's all sorts of problems that people run into. There's probably problems like your spouse might have something about them that really annoys you.
And if you just keep ignoring it, or you don't let that person know, or you think that confronting the issue is going to be a hot mess and you don't want to do that, but actually you just might be working up some story in your head that's probably not even true.
Right. And I think that only becomes worse as it starts to turn around. So you want to chop the problem off as early as possible. Going back to my analogy, my car breaking down, you want to just pop open the hood and look for yourself, because oftentimes that is the simplest answer. It's the simplest answer to open up your car, open up the hood, check it out, and you can be like, wow, this is the cheapest, most cost-effective, easiest way to fix it. The same thing with your life. Confronting your problems with facing on, with your sword and your shield. Make sure you're in a good energy state. Make sure you feel good, you feel right, you have the information that you need, and go into solving your problems. It could be as simple as calling up those people that you owe money to and saying, look, I got a plan, I can figure this out. Here's my plan. Because most of you guys probably do have a plan to pay off debt. Most of you guys probably do have a plan to reconcile your relationship, but it does no good if you can't communicate that to somebody else that really appreciates it. So I think that one of the things that I wanted to really touch on today was stop ignoring the problems. Just start facing the problems, but face them with the right tools. And what are the right tools? Ask yourself, what are the tools I need to solve this problem? You guys have something called Google, which answers every question known to man for free right at your fingertips. And most people don't even really use it. You have something called YouTube that can show you step-by-step processes. You can find people to help you work and solve these different problems. You have an abundance of resources like we've never had before. You have libraries, you have books, you have documentaries, you have all sorts of tools here to learn how to solve your problems. But you got to do the digging to first define the problem within yourself, not ignore it, but define it. What is the problem? Because you're never going to solve it until you can define it. And it might be, I don't have enough money, or I don't have enough money, or I don't have the money that I want now, or I don't have the money that I believe that I'm worth. All these different things. It might be my relationship isn't the same way. It might be that my health is taking a digger. What's going on? Marissa and I just did a huge rant on our podcast last week about so many people that don't take responsibility for their own health. They just want to outsource to doctor. It's like your doctor only knows what you tell the doctor. They don't know everything about yourself. So you got to take your own responsibility to pit intelligent people against themselves. It's all these things come towards defining the problem, not ignore it. So come up with what your problems are. Seriously, it'll feel so much better.
Also rank them too. Like you don't have to just do that with invoices. Do that with everything in life. Like what are the things, like swallow the frog first, eat the frog, eat the biggest, swallow the biggest frog first. It's a thing. It's a slogan. If someone wants to write the actual quote, please do. But it's like swallow the biggest frog first. Like get the big thing out of the way that you can't stop thinking about. That's taking up all the room and all the space in your mind. Where if you have any free time to even just sit in silence, this is the first thing you're thinking about. Well, swallow the big frog first. Get that out of the way. Face that problem first, and then rank them. 1 through, whatever, how many other problems you have, because it makes it so much easier when you do just write it down and you see it in front of you. Totally different than just keeping it in your brain and thinking, like, manifesting all these negative thoughts around all these issues that you may have. And then you just shut down, because that's what I do. I shut down. If I don't see it in front of myself, if I don't acknowledge it, I just completely shut down and just ignore it. And that's not what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting rid of the problem. You're just covering it up with a Band-Aid on the check engine light.
And that's what we wanted to talk about, is what are some different strategies that you guys have for defining your problems? I mean, it's very common in business. It's very common in life. These are applicable to both circumstances, that the first step of any problem solving method is to define the problem. You could go with DMAIC, right? Is define, measure, analyze, improve, sustain, right? That's a Lean Six Sigma principle, but you got to define the problem first. So what is going on in your life lately that's not going the way that you'd like? Because if there's a gap in your expectations between I expect my life to be here and I'm here, that's a problem that needs to be solved. So you need to define that problem first so you can solve it. But you got to face it. You got to pop open the hood and look at the engine components and try to figure out yourself what's going on with your vehicle, what's going on with your body, what's going on with your life, what is messed up in here. And wow, it's way easier now that I'm looking at the problem. And I say this all the time on these shows. I say you can't hit a target that you can't see. You can't hit a target that you can't see. So you got to face it. Face the dragon with your sword and your shield, and then you can actually go into improving your life.
And I know it's so scary, especially when it comes to your health and the unknown. And when you feel symptoms come up and you're like, why the heck am I feeling like this all of a sudden? What does this mean? Don't WebMD it. You know that for a fact, because either you have a cold or you have cancer.
Or you're dying.
Or you're dying. Or you've already been dead pretty much. But guys, go check out our latest podcast on Winners, Wallets, and Worldviews, because it is so good when it comes into the philosophical side of like the
pursuit of truth, really.
Pursuit of truth between the Eastern medicine and Western medicine. And, what does that look like when they come together? It is so good. We've received so many messages from people. It's probably one of our top ranked podcasts right now, because I don't know where half this stuff, well, we know where half this stuff is coming from, but the way that AJ says and the way that I say it, so many people can start relating to it on how they weren't taking ownership of their own health, how their health was actually declining because they weren't taking ownership. They were giving it into somebody else's hands. So please definitely check that out too, because it speaks directly to this, ignoring the issue or trying to pawn off the issue on somebody else because they have the answer, when really it's internally, it's within you. You have the answer. You just need to open the hood, see what's inside, sit down with yourself. When's the last time you literally looked yourself in the mirror and asked yourself, how are you today? How are things going? What's going on in your mind? What's going on in your heart? What's going on in your abdomen, your stomach? How are you feeling? We ask everybody we see, how are you? But we don't ask the one person we should be asking, and that's ourselves every single day. Yeah. I think that's so important. So definitely check out that podcast. I think it was called Health Lies.
Yeah. Health Lies.
Really
last
good.
Week. But quick introduction, because I know we see some more people jumping on these platforms here. My name is AJ Armstrong. We never did this. We just got into the rant. So
It's true.
my name is AJ Armstrong. I am a social media influencer. I have these podcasts that I run called Winners, Wallets, and Worldviews. And lately I've been finding that my co-host here compliments my abrupt demeanor quite nicely sometimes. So she's been very helpful helping us really communicate some of the health side of things, which a lot of people have reached out to me and I don't know, they see me take selfies in the mirror and think that I know something about health. And I'm like, well, really, this is my secret weapon right here. So it's she's been really helpful on these podcasts, really offsetting me being a little overly direct because she's got these wonderful feminine attributes that make it a little bit nicer to look at on camera as well. Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, I run the podcast Winners, Wallets, Worldviews. I also own the company Armstrong Ventures, which is an online consulting company with leadership, peak performance, and business consulting practices that we run. If you're ever interested in a call or you want to learn a little bit more about it or what I do, I specialize with people that are seeking to become leaders in their industry. I actually just updated some of my pricing for this year. You can find it up in my Instagram bio or on my links on Facebook or on Instagram. If you're just interested and want to take a peek at what that all entails, it's all detailed out for you right there. So that's a little bit about me. I'd like to hear about you now.
And I am Marissa Armstrong, and I am the owner of Marissa's Fit Boutique. I am a fitness specialist and natural health educator and advocate. So we are actually launching my Step 1 program starting on January 17th. And this is for the woman who wants to start leading her life, start leading her own health journey, but she just does not know where to begin. So these are the tools I will give you for a full 6 weeks of exactly what that's going to look like, what those 13 sessions are going to entail. And it's about taking ownership of your health. I'm all about that. And let me provide you with the tools that you can do that for 6 weeks. And then after those 6 weeks as well, once you get the momentum going. So do check out my Facebook page, marissasfitboutique.com, where you can, just kidding, Facebook page, Marissa's Fit Boutique, and I also my website. But I will be going on live today at 11 o'clock talking all about the Step 1 program. So bring your questions if you are from the Oshkosh area. It is a brick and mortar studio called Marissa's Fit Boutique. And I am so excited to dive deep into that at 11 o'clock today.
Yeah. Well, that's a little bit about us. So I want to hear about you. So we have people sending us emojis. So we'd like to hear about your stories, guys. But anyway, we like to have these Q&As so that people can jump on and they can talk about different parts of their life. And I'm always interested in what you guys are looking for. What's running? What issues are you running into? People reach out to Marissa and I a lot because they're interested in how we balance a lot of different things in our life. And I think it comes with first focusing on that. Right? Focus on, is money important to me and how much, and is health important to me and how much, and are your relationships important to you or how much? So many of us don't even ask those questions. They just say, I'm just going to put myself into a career and I'm just going to put it on autopilot. I'm just going to let all these events pop into my life without actually taking ownership
my life.
them. Right. And it's so frustrating, I think,
and they'll also let you dictate your problems.
Yeah. And they're going to tell you what your problems are. It's just going to be whatever is thrown at you. And then you're going to be reacting. You're going to constantly just be reacting instead of taking full and abrupt ownership in what you want to do. So that's where we've decided a long time ago that we do not want to live that way. And people have watched us now because we've decided to share our journey on social media.
But people also get really uncomfortable with that too. So people get really uncomfortable when they see other people taking ownership of their financial gain or health or relationship or just everything that goes on in life, because they're afraid of the uncertainty.
People closest to you especially. So, and I call this the equilibrium. People closest to you love you the most. I don't think there's any question about that. And I think that that's why it can be so dangerous. People closest to you love you the most. Your close friends, your family, your parents, your siblings, your cousins, whatever, the people that right in your inner circle. And what's going to happen is when you start to stretch yourself, they're going to start to try to pull you back to where they think it's more risk averse and what they're more comfortable with. And just keep in mind, that's what they think is best for you, not what is best for you. I had a conversation with this guy. I was helping him. He's going through bankruptcy right now, and he was really having a rough time, and he's trying to figure out his whole life and put it all together. And he says he's getting so much advice from all these different people telling him to do this or that or this with his business. And he says he's just so confused because he feels like it's just not aligned with him and where he wants to go with his business. And I said, people are doing what they think is best for you, not what is best for you. And how do you know what is best for you? You know what is best for you. It's got to come from deep inside. I don't know what's best for you. I can give you my assessment, which is still probably better than what other people are saying is best for you. But you truly know what is best for you. And I think that that's a really key distinction to make, because you're going to run into this equilibrium where the people that you grew up with, or the people that are closest to you, the people that are in your inner circle, are in this equilibrium. As you drop below the equilibrium in their view of what status is, maybe you drop out of college, or maybe you do something that's you get fired from a job or whatever, or you go through a divorce, that might be lower than the equilibrium that they're comfortable with. They will put their hands together and try to pull you back up because they love you. But here's the other thing. When you try to exceed that equilibrium that they have, now you're saying, look, I'm going to start going a little bit different direction in my health journey. Maybe I'm going to stop drinking, and maybe I'm going to start working out more in the mornings, early in the mornings, or maybe I'm going to start going on excursions to different, health and development or wealth and development events, and spending money to do stuff, or reading books more than watching TV and being spun up on the latest shows. When you start doing that, they're going to try to pull you back down and say, what do you mean? You're changing. I don't like that. That's different. That maybe you're getting a little, and they're going to try to pull you back into that equilibrium. So I think you got to go in to understand that happens. And I think that when you do understand that happens, you can at least consciously be aware of it, so you can make sure that you're having the conversation at the level that the person's at, if that makes sense. Does that make sense, Marissa?
Yeah.
I was really going off there because this has been something so common with us lately, is that we're starting to see people that just really try to jump in and give their 2 cents all the time. But in reality, their 2 cents is only what they feel is best. And that's not always the case either. Sometimes they're doing things purposely to sabotage you, but I believe that their people are inherently good in the ways that they're trying to work with you and change stuff. But nonetheless, you know what's best for you, not other people. So,
again, just open up the hood.
Yeah.
Open up the hood of the car and figure out what's going on within you.
Just don't ignore your check engine light for 3 months. And then ask someone else to solve the problem. How many of you guys got duped by a mechanic in the past? How many of you guys had some mechanic come and say, like, oh, you need this wrong, this wrong?
Whoops, Instagram.
Yeah, my phone was going off. But so many of you guys have issues going on in your life, and you just need to figure out, how do I solve these problems? But you're asking someone else to solve them for you. Who else is going to help me get rich? Who else is going to help me change my health? What's my doctor say? What's this say? You're asking the mechanic to fix your problem. You're asking all these things when really it's just as easy as a battery replacement. All you got to do is just pop a couple bolts off, drop another battery in, tighten it down, and you're good. So think about that as we go into these next few weeks, guys, because this is going to be huge. And I'm going to be checking in with you guys on this platform as well to say, hey, are you sticking with your New Year's resolutions? Most people already quit. Isn't that crazy? Most people already quit. You know how I know?
No, we're just 12 days in.
You know how I know? You know how I know that most people quit?
How do you know?
Because on January 3rd, I go into the gym in the morning, and I couldn't even find a parking spot. And now all week this week, I go to the gym in the morning, and nobody's in there. How does that work? Well, I think most people are giving up on their New Year's resolutions already. And that just shows like how you can truly separate yourself by just sticking with a plan. I mean, everyone says, how do you get rich? It's all just luck. No, it's really easy. It's just staying consistent with your own plan. That's it. That's what everybody else does. I've showed up every single week on these lives for 1 year, despite all the criticism from my family, from my friends, everybody that sits there and shits on me or everything else, because I'm talking about stuff that they don't feel comfortable with me talking about, because I'm changing myself every single day. Every single day I show up on these lives. I've had a podcast release. We just finished season 1. We had 52 episodes, 1 a week, every day for 1 year, because I committed to myself when I started that podcast, I was going to go through with it for a year. How many people, and now it's super successful. Tons of people are jumping into our community. All these different social media platforms are popping up. And I didn't even know what I was doing when I started this podcast. And it's just so much has happened because of it. So what could you do if you just stuck with something for 1 year? What could you do? If you just stick with it, it could be very simple. Just showing up and talking to your friends and family on social media every Saturday morning has now turned into a massive podcast, has now turned into a big brand, a coaching and consulting business, all of these different things that we can now use as tools to just keep sharing good with people in the world and helping other people who are going through issues that we've gone through and figured out, because we decided to pop open the hood and look for ourselves when everybody else has been delegating that off to someone else. Imagine what would happen if you flipped the hood yourself. You don't need to listen to me. You don't need to listen to a podcast. You don't need to listen to anything, because you're taking ownership of your own life, because you're taking control. And that's my goal, is getting you guys to step into the realm, being leaders yourself, going out there and having the tools to become a leader in your own industry, in your own family, in your own space. Whatever that is, you need to understand where you're at and how you want to lead. And if you don't want to lead, then you don't really want to accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish. Then you're just talking a good game, because everything different in the world is worth more money. Everything that's changing people's lives is worth more money. Everything that's unique about you is being a leader. And I think that that's what we need to understand here. So these are the things that you can do if you just stick with stuff. That's why I want you to stick with your own goals that you set for yourself. If you said you were going to go to the gym, if you said you were going to drink celery juice every morning, then do it. It's very simple. It's almost so simple that you're sabotaging yourself by not doing it. So that's how I know people are giving up on their New Year's resolutions already, because the gym is down to about 25% of the people I saw there last week, 1 freaking week ago. I'm still sticking with this BS raw vegan cleanse.
Oh, we're on day 14. We're halfway there.
No, it's day 15.
No, we started 2 days before the new year.
Damn it.
14. We're halfway there.
I thought we could have bought an extra day there. So we're halfway through. And this is something that was really hard and challenging, but you got to stick with it, because we said we're going to stick with it. We said we're going to commit. You know how many I missed chili cook-off this week. Chili cook-off.
That must have been hard.
It was so hard. I love chili, and I missed it this week because I'm so committed to this raw vegan cleanse. Now, I'm not going to do this the rest of my life, very clearly, but still, this is something that I wanted to stick with for 28 days. And guys, if you can stick with something for 28 days, you quite frankly can stick with anything. Anything. So where do you want to break? What day exactly do you notice yourself trying to cheat? And then why do you notice yourself trying to cheat? Why do you notice yourself trying to break? And I think that those are good things to understand too, because you can start to dig up a lot of root causes.
Well, yeah, because I mean, committing yourself to something for 28 days, such as eating just all raw fruits and vegetables, brings up a lot of problems you were once ignoring. So again, really looking internal within yourself. I mean, anytime you commit yourself to something as strict and as regiment as that, brings up a lot within you that you've never addressed before. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I suggest you highly give something like that a try, because it's really impactful.
And if you have any questions, and if you're interested in doing something like that 28-day raw vegan cleanse, reach out to Marissa. She'll tell you all the details about it, all the benefits, all the things.
Yeah,
that are
I'll give
great.
you some resources.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But if it could be something as easy as budgeting or saving your money, or I want to invest into something, whatever that is, if you're not going to stick with it. So like my investing strategy is I often will hide money from myself that I earn, and I'll put it in less liquid accounts. So I will take money out of my checking account, and I will not put it in a savings account. I will not put it in a money market account, but I'll actually put it in a fund that I might not be able to liquidate unless I physically call someone and ask them to do it. That automatically discourages me from getting it. Or I'll put it into something else, like a real estate deal or something that I know that I have to go sell the property, go through escrow, all these different problems, so I can keep a lot of my net worth away from me so I don't feel tempted, because I know that I lack the discipline that if I see the money, I'm going to want to spend it. So how do I have to get that all away from me? We did that in our house with our diet. We only have foods in our house that are raw fruits and vegetables. So if I'm hungry, the only option I have is to eat a smoothie or dates or bananas or whatever. That's all I have to eat, because I've removed all the temptation in my life. And it's like, that's the same thing. So what are the tools you need to put in place so that you can start to remove all these things? But like I said, guys, it's going to bring up a lot of issues. It's going to bring up a lot of concerns. You're going to have problems that come up. And if you keep ignoring them, like, I'm going to quit this because it's a lot easier to not do the raw vegan cleanse. Well, then you're just ignoring the things under your hood. Then you're just ignoring your check engine light. Then you're just not going to go underneath the hood and figure out what's going on.
Because I love this quote. Don't let somebody else's expectations for your life dictate your life.
Right. I couldn't be more.
Don't live to somebody else's expectations. You have your own expectations for your life. What do they look like?
Yeah.
Live your life that way.
And start thinking about them very seriously, because I said this in a post that I put online a couple weeks ago, and it's been getting a lot of popular views, probably one of my more popular hits. And it's like, you've got only a certain amount of time left in your life. Why are you wasting it doing things for other people when you could be doing things vertically? That means in your soul and in God's word. Why can't you start doing things that way? Vertical integration, not horizontal. Don't do this for other people. Don't do it for your friends. Don't do it for your family. Don't do it for all the material shit that's out here, but do it vertically. What's in your soul? There's just, like, I'm saying, a really high place in your soul, not just, I really want this because I want to feel good. No, I'm saying deep in your soul, what are you meant to do? What are you meant to bring to this world? What is the value that you are designed to put out in the world? This whole universe is a system, and every single person in it, and every single atom, and every single organism interacts in a way that is consistent with the system. And if you're not fitting your role in the system, then you're not doing it right. You need to fit your role in the system to make the whole system better and improve. It's just like an assembly line. If you aren't doing your responsibility, you're not going to push as much things off the end of the assembly line. And if you are going to slack on that, you're going to slacken the amount of value you can give to the entire system. So think about it that way. If you want to improve the entire system, the entire world, people say, I want to change the world. Well, you start changing the world by changing yourself today just a little bit better, because you can put one more widget off that assembly line, you will make the world a little bit better and a little bit better. But if you're just going to sit there and keep all those hopes and dreams in your heart and then just let everybody else dictate your life, you're not going to change the world at all. You're not even going to change yourself. You're going to change nothing. So start changing what you can, and then eventually you'll start to change all of the things that you want. So you only do that by staying consistent. You only do that by facing your problems with your sword and your shield. What tools do I need, and what information do I need, and I can solve anything. So I need to figure that out myself. Where is that in your life? So here's the challenge for you guys. If you guys are taking notes on this, I know a lot of my people send me texts and I didn't even know this, or I'll get messages on Instagram with people taking notes on my podcast. But if you are taking notes, here's what I want you to write down. I want you to write down 5 problems that you have been ignoring. 5 problems that you have been ignoring, and define them very clearly. What are those 5 problems? And you can go through and list them. It could be in your relationship. It could be in your finances. It could be in your health. There might be some type of health condition that you have that you've known about for years, and you've been medicating, or you've been covering up, or you haven't been talking about. Write them all down first. And then the next step, you can start to research how we actually solve these problems. But you're never going to solve them until they're written down. 5 of them. You guys are going to know exactly what to do. You're going to write down all 5. You're like, okay, I'm going to start Googling some of this stuff. How do I start to fix a lot of this stuff? It's going to be just natural. You're going to just start doing it. And you're going to be like, wow, that was really easy. All I had to do was face the dragon with my sword and my shield. That's all I had to do. So write down 5 of those problems. What are they? Are you having issues with your spouse? Are you having issues with your boyfriend or girlfriend? Are you having issues in your life? What is it? What are you doing? Are you having issues in your finances? Is your car check engine light on? You just need to find it. Are you not organized enough? Are you not getting as much done as you'd like to get done? What are these different problems that you're having in your life, and write them all down. So if you guys are taking notes on this, I highly encourage you to check that out and see how quickly you'll actually be able to solve these problems. So
with that being said, it is celery juice time.
yeah, so we're going to hit the celery juice train. All right.
Celery juice bar.
We got a celery juice bar. So Marissa last night and I were making celery juice, and I'm mixing ginger and apple juice and orange juice. And I'm like, this is my kind of cocktail hour, right?
Ginger was strong, guys. You had to take it down like a shot.
Put a little too much ginger in that celery juice. It's really, I have to admit, I almost got heartburn from that last night. That was quite a bit of ginger.
Well, a lot of healing.
Yeah, a lot of healing going on. So guys, thank you so much. If you're just jumping on, make sure you go back and watch this. This one was really good today. I wanted to make sure that you guys can start to face those issues in your life, because people reach out to social media for entertainment for the most times. But if we can jump on and give you guys ways of solving your problems, it's the biggest relief you can ever have. And I think that that's where it comes down to. Stop ignoring them, start defining them. Once again, my name is AJ Armstrong. You can find me at aaronjarmstrong.com, or you can find me on Instagram or Facebook. I do these lives every single Saturday morning with my wife, Marissa. Now we're starting to do these on our season 2 for Winners, Wallets, and Worldviews, which is my podcast. My podcast, Winners, Wallets, and Worldviews, can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio. We're all over the place. Just got to check us out. and if you guys appreciate this kind of message, if you want somebody else to hear this, tag them in this, comment, share it, like it. If it's on iTunes, subscribe, review. These things help our podcast get to more people that need this type of work. They need to hear these types of things. And you guys have already been so supportive by your comments and your likes and all those types of things. So I really appreciate all of the support from us. And I just really want to wish you the best weekend possible as we start to drink our celery juice and go hit the gym.
And if you want to check out the Step 1 program, which will be starting on January 17th at Marissa's Fit Boutique, I will be going live at 11 o'clock. If you are watching the replay, just bounce on over to my Facebook page and you can watch the replay of the entire Facebook Live. I will be talking about the Step 1 program and bring your questions.
Yeah. So guys, check out marissasfitboutique.com or aaronjarmstrong.com and you can learn really everything there is to know about me or us. So have a fantastic weekend. Thank you guys so much. We need to